What if one draft pick could change everything? Some teams were falling apart until one player turned it all around. In this video, we break down every NBA draft pick that saved a franchise. From forgotten late round picks to future legends, these players didn't just help, they built dynasties. Watch till the end because every minute reveals a game-changing story. Tim Duncan, San Antonio Spurs, 1997 first pick. In 1997, the San Antonio Spurs were in big trouble. Their star, David Robinson, had spent most of the season injured, and the team finished with just 20 wins. Basically, they looked less like a basketball team and more like a group of guys trying to find the basket with Google Maps. But then came the 1997 NBA draft, and with the first pick, they selected Tim Duncan. That's when everything changed. Duncan wasn't flashy, no crazy dunks, no wild celebrations, it's just pure fundamentals. He was like a human textbook on how to play basketball. He teamed up with Robinson to form the Twin Towers, and together, they became one of the most feared front courts in the league. But here's the twist, Duncan wasn't just good, he was consistently good. Year after year, game after game, he showed up like your favorite reliable coworker who never calls in sick and always brings donuts. Under his calm leadership, the Spurs won 5 NBA championships in 1999, 2003, 2005, 2007, and 2014. That's not just success, that's a dynasty. Duncan didn't yell or seek the spotlight. He let his game do the talking, quietly, politely, and with 5 rings to back it up. San Antonio went from being a small market team, barely on the NBA map, to a global example of winning the right way. So yeah, Tim Duncan didn't just save the Spurs, he turned them into a legacy, and he did it all without ever raising his voice. Stephen Curry, Golden State Warriors, 2009 7th pick. Back in 2009, the Golden State Warriors weren't exactly the team everyone feared. In fact, most people feared being drafted by them. They were stuck in the basement of the Western Conference, trying to find wins and hope at the same time. Then came a skinny kid from Davidson, Stephen Curry, who was picked 7th overall. Not many expected much. Some even thought his ankles were made of glass, but boy, did he prove them wrong. At first, Curry looked like just another good shooter, but soon it became clear, this guy wasn't just shooting threes, he was breaking the game. He started launching shots from way behind the arc, smiling like he knew something the defenders didn't, and usually he did. His handles were sharp, his vision underrated, and his leadership quiet, but real. As Curry grew, so did the Warriors. They went from being the team you watched for fun to the team no one wanted to face. With Klay Thompson and Draymond Green beside him, Steph led Golden State to 4 NBA championships in 2015, 2017, 2018, and 2022. His shooting didn't just help the team win, it changed how basketball is played today. The Warriors went from lottery regulars to a dynasty, and it all started with the 7th pick, who made threes look easier than layups. So yes, Stephen Curry didn't just save the Warriors, he turned them into a basketball revolution with a smile and a splash. And Kevin Garnett, Minnesota Timberwolves, 1995, 5th pick. In 1995, the Minnesota Timberwolves were in rough shape. They weren't just losing, they were losing fans' hope and maybe even their mascot's will to dance. Then came Kevin Garnett, drafted straight out of high school with the 5th overall pick. Garnett brought more than just talent. He brought heart, fire, and that signature scream that could probably crack the glass. At just 19, he wasn't afraid of anyone. Garnett walked into the NBA like he owned it, and soon he did. He gave the Timberwolves their first real identity. Before him, Minnesota basketball was winter background noise. With him, they had a purpose. K led the Wolves to 8 straight playoff appearances and even took them to the Western Conference Finals in 2004. That was a big deal, like parade planning level big, even if they didn't win it all. He was intense, loyal, and maybe a little terrifying. He once headbutted the padding on the basket just to get hyped, but that passion made him the face of the franchise. Minnesota had never seen anything like it. He didn't just save the Timberwolves, he was the Timberwolves. Without Garnett, the team might have ended up as a trivia question. With him, they had relevance, pride, and a whole lot of sweat on the hardwood. And if you're loving these draft stories where one pick flips a franchise, subscribing is how you help us keep telling them. LeBron James, Cleveland Cavaliers, 2003 first pick. In 2003, the Cleveland Cavaliers didn't just draft a player, they drafted hope. Hometown hero LeBron James was the #1 overall pick, and thank goodness, because Cleveland basketball at the time was like a pizza without cheese, flat, sad, and going nowhere fast. LeBron didn't waste time. He showed up aged 18 and acted like the grown-up in the room. By 2007, he had already dragged the Cavaliers to the NBA Finals with a supporting cast that looked more like a summer league team. They didn't win that year, but for Cleveland fans, it felt like finally being invited to the big kids table. But then, plot twist, he left in 2010. Miami got the rings and Cleveland got angry. Jerseys burned, tears flowed, therapy bills stacked. But 4 years later, LeBron came home. And in 2016, he pulled off the impossible, a 3-1 comeback against the 73-9 Warriors to win Cleveland its first NBA championship ever. Not just the team's first, the city's first major title in 52 years. LeBron wasn't just a draft pick, he was a one-man economic boom, a basketball genius, and a living reminder that sometimes the hometown kid really can save the day. Cleveland didn't just get a superstar, they got a savior in sneakers. Patrick Ewing, New York Knicks, 1985 first pick. Ewing quickly became the team's rock, their leader, and honestly, the guy who made New York Knicks basketball worth watching again. Before Ewing, the Knicks were struggling more than a New Yorker, trying to find a quiet spot in Times Square, standing at 7 feet tall, with hands big enough to palm a watermelon. Okay, maybe not a watermelon, but close. Ewing was a dominant force on both ends of the court. He played tough defense, grabbed rebounds like they were on sale, and scored when it mattered most. It's no surprise he led the Knicks to many playoff runs, bringing excitement back to Madison Square Garden, the mecca of basketball. Ewing wasn't just a great player, he was the face of the franchise during the late 80s and 90s. He restored pride to a city that demands the best. Knicks fans still remember those battles against the Bulls, Pacers, and Heat, games that felt more like street fights than basketball. Thanks to Patrick Ewing, the Knicks became a team that could compete again. He didn't just play basketball, he fought for every point and every win, making the Knicks proud again. Dirk Nowitzki, Dallas Mavericks, 1998 9th pick. Dirk wasn't just another player. He became the heart and soul of the Mavericks, turning a team that often missed the spotlight into a serious NBA contender. When the Dallas Mavericks picked Dirk Nowitzki with the 9th pick in the 1998 NBA draft, few could have guessed just how much this tall, lanky guy from Germany would change their history. Dirk's game was unique. He was a 7-foot shooter with a deadly fadeaway jumper. Over his 21 seasons with Dallas, Dirk scored more than 31,000 points, making him one of the top scorers ever. He wasn't just tall, he was smooth, consistent, and always ready to take the big shot. His loyalty to Dallas was like a Netflix series you can't stop watching, 21 seasons, all with one team, no drama, just hard work. Dirk led the Mavericks to many playoff appearances, but the most significant moment came in 2011 when he finally won the NBA championship. That title meant everything for Dallas, turning them into a respected team with a proud history. More seriously, Dirk's mix of skill, heart, and loyalty saved the Mavericks and made them champions. In a league full of stars switching teams, Dirk was a shining example of what a true franchise saver looks like. Ja Morant, Memphis Grizzlies, 2019 second pick. When the Memphis Grizzlies picked Ja Morant as the second overall pick in the 2019 NBA draft, they didn't just get a player, they got a game changer. Morant's arrival brought a fresh burst of energy and excitement to a team that had been quiet for a while. He turned the Grizzlies from hopefuls into serious playoff contenders almost overnight. Talk about instant impact, like ordering fast food and getting a 5-course meal. Morant isn't the tallest guy on the court, standing around 6 feet 3 inches, but his athleticism is off the charts. His quickness and incredible jumping ability allow him to fly past defenders, dunk on them, and drop jaw-dropping passes like a magician, pulling rabbits out of a hat. In his rookie season, he averaged 17.8 points and 7.3 assists per game. Not bad for someone still figuring out how to tie his shoes under NBA pressure. What really makes Morant special is his fearless style of play. He attacks the basket like it owes him money and never backs down from a challenge. Defenders try to stop him, but more often than not, they end up flat on the floor. You could say Morant turns the court into his personal playground, but a very serious one where he keeps the score high. Plus, his leadership on and off the court gives Memphis fans hope for a bright future. The Grizzlies now feel like a team with heart and hustle, not just another name on the standings. Which draft pick changed your team's future? Drop it in the comments. We might feature it in the next breakdown, maybe in part 2 if you say so. Anyways, Let's move forward. Jimmy Butler, Chicago Bulls, 2011 30th pick. Jimmy Butler's story is proof that great things can come from unexpected places. Picked 30th overall in the 2011 NBA draft, the very last pick of the first round, Butler wasn't precisely a lottery ticket everyone wanted to bet on, but boy did he prove the doubters wrong. Starting as a quiet, hard-working player, he grew into a star who could carry teams deep into the playoffs. Talk about a classic underdog story with a twist of hustle and heart. Butler's time with the Chicago Bulls showed what grit and determination can do. He wasn't just a scorer, he was a fierce defender and a leader who made teammates better. His stats speak for themselves. In the 2016-17 season, Butler averaged about 23 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists per game. Solid numbers that made him one of the best two-way players in the league. Basically, he was doing a bit of everything, kind of like that one friend who can cook, fix your Wi-Fi, and still show up on time. Later, Butler took his talents to the Miami Heat, where he led the team to the NBA Finals in 2020. His clutch performances and toughness earned him the nickname Jimmy Buckets, a fitting name for someone who can fill the net with points like a basketball version of a bucket brigade. What makes Butler special isn't just his skills, but his attitude. He's known for pushing himself and others, demanding effort and focus, which can be both inspiring and intimidating. Like a coach who also sneaks in motivational speeches disguised as trash talk. In the end, Jimmy Butler didn't just save the Bulls or the Heat, he saved fans from boring basketball and showed how hard work beats hype any day. From last pick to star, Butler's journey is a slam dunk for every team looking for a leader who can change the game. Nikola Jokic, Denver Nuggets, 2014 41st pick. When the Denver Nuggets picked Nikola Jokic in 2014, many thought, wait, who? He wasn't a flashy first-round pick. Actually, he was chosen 41st overall in the second round. Second-round picks don't usually come with big expectations. It's like finding a rare treasure in a clearance sale, but Jokic turned out to be one of the best deals in NBA history. Initially, the Nuggets were a decent team, but not a genuine championship threat. They needed a special player who could change the game without making too much noise. Jokic did exactly that. He's not the fastest or the most athletic guy on the court, but his basketball IQ is off the charts. Imagine a chess player who moves 5 steps ahead while everyone else is still figuring out their first move. Jokic's style is unique. He plays center but can pass like a point guard, shoot from outside, and control the game like a maestro. In the 2022-23 season, he averaged around 24.5 points, 11.8 rebounds, and 9.8 assists per game. Thanks to Jokic's amazing skills, the Nuggets went from being a solid playoff team to winning their first NBA championship in 2023. Before Jokic, Denver fans had to deal with heartbreak and long playoff droughts. After Jokic, the city's basketball dreams finally came true. It's safe to say he saved the franchise and brought joy to the Rocky Mountains. What makes Jokic even more impressive is his calm leadership. He doesn't need to shout or make big speeches. He leads by example. He's like that quiet kid in class who surprises everyone with the highest score on the test. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Milwaukee Bucks, 2013 15th pick. When the Milwaukee Bucks picked Giannis Antetokounmpo with the 15th overall pick in 2013, most fans had one question: how do you say his name? Back then, Giannis was just a tall, skinny kid from Greece with a wild wingspan and a lot of potential. Today, he's the pride of Milwaukee and the guy who saved their franchise. Giannis didn't just grow into an NBA star, he became a superhero in sneakers. From averaging just 6.8 points as a rookie to becoming a 2-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and one of the league's most unstoppable forces, his rise has been unreal. And let's not forget, he did it all while remaining humble, loyal, and still slightly confused by American snacks. In 2021, Giannis delivered something Milwaukee fans hadn't seen in 50 years, a championship. He dropped 50 points in the finals clincher as if it were just another Tuesday. No super team, no running to big markets, just hard work, loyalty, and a lot of Euro steps. Giannis didn't just put the Bucks back on the map, he made them cool. Before him, Milwaukee basketball was kind of polite. Now, they've got swagger. And while other stars changed teams like phone wallpapers, Giannis stayed and built something real. Manu Ginobili, San Antonio Spurs, 1999 57th pick. When the San Antonio Spurs picked Manu Ginobili in 1999, it was the 57th pick, almost at the very end of the draft. Most teams would be thinking, well, that's probably just a backup plan, but the Spurs saw something special in this quiet, crafty player from Argentina, and boy did Ginobili prove them right. At that time, the Spurs were already a good team with stars like Tim Duncan and David Robinson, but they needed a spark, a secret weapon that could change the game when it really mattered. Ginobili became exactly that. His style was different. He wasn't the tallest or the fastest, but he was smart, tricky, and fearless. He played with heart, bringing energy and excitement whenever he was on the court. Manu was known for his clutch performances. That means when the game was close and the pressure was on, he always stepped up. Whether it was making a crazy shot, a smart pass, or a hard steal, Ginobili showed he could handle the heat. Over his career, he averaged about 13 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists per game. Solid numbers for someone who wasn't the main star, but always made a big impact. Thanks to Manu, the Spurs won 4 NBA championships: 2003, 2005, 2007, and 2014. He wasn't just a player, he was a team player, famous for his unselfish style and willingness to do the little things others might miss. He made the Spurs more than just a team. They became a well-oiled machine that everyone respected. One unique thing about Ginobili was how he made the Eurostep famous in the NBA, a clever move where he would fake defenders out and glide past them smoothly. This trick has become so popular that almost every player now tries it. So in a way, Manu didn't just help the Spurs, he changed the whole way basketball is played. Draymond Green, Golden State Warriors, 2012, 35th pick. When the Golden State Warriors picked Draymond Green in 2012. As the 35th pick, many people didn't expect much. After all, second-round picks are often seen as long shots, the kind of players who might fill the bench or at best play spot minutes. But Draymond turned out to be the kind of player you can't just bench because he's the glue that held the Warriors together. At that time, the Warriors had a couple of stars, Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson, the famous Splash Brothers known for shooting three-pointers like it was an easy video game. But a team full of shooters can only get you so far if you don't have someone to protect the basket, play tough defense, and make smart plays. Enter Draymond Green, a man who can do a little bit of everything, but especially defense and passing. Draymond's stats aren't always flashy like a 40-point game, but they tell a different story. He averages around 9.0 points, 6.1 rebounds, and 5.6 assists per game. Not bad for a guy who does the dirty work, but what makes him special is his defense. He can guard almost every position on the floor, from point guards to centers. That's like being able to play every instrument in the band while still leading the whole orchestra. Thanks to Draymond's defense, stirring the Warriors won 4 NBA championships in 2015, 2017, 2018, and 2022. He was the heart of the defense, the guy who would steal the ball, block shots, and start fast breaks with his quick passing. When the team was under pressure, Draymond was the calm voice that kept everyone focused and on track. Some say he talks a lot on the court, maybe too much, but someone's got to keep the team in line. Maybe he's just the Warriors' very own coach in sneakers. One unique thing about Draymond is how he changed the idea of what a power forward can be. Before him, big men mostly focused on scoring and rebounding. Draymond showed that being a playmaker and defender is just as important, sometimes even more so. In short, Draymond Green wasn't just a good pick. He saved the Warriors by giving them balance. Without him, Curry and Thompson would be two shooters missing their best friend. Draymond made the Warriors a complete team and helped them become one of the best dynasties in NBA history. So next time someone says second round picks don't matter, remind them about Draymond, the defender, the passer, the loudest voice on the court, and the secret sauce behind those shiny Warriors rings. Marc Gasol, Memphis Grizzlies 2007 48th pick. Marc Gasol was picked 48th in the 2007 NBA draft, but the Grizzlies actually got him later through a trade. At first, not many people thought he would be a game changer. He wasn't flashy or a superstar scorer, but what he brought was even more important: smart play, defense, and strong leadership. Before Gasol arrived, the Memphis Grizzlies were a struggling team, often losing more games than they won. They needed a player who could hold the team together, especially on defense, and lead by example. Gasol did just that. He averaged about 15 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists in his best seasons. Not eye-popping stats, but very solid. He was perfect on defense, winning Defensive Player of the Year in 2013. Opponents found it tough to score when Gasol was protecting the paint. More than numbers, Gasol helped build the Grizzlies' tough, grit and grind identity. This wasn't a flashy team full of slam dunks and three-pointers. It was a hard-working, never-give-up group that played smart basketball. Thanks to Gasol's calm leadership and team play, Memphis became a regular playoff team and even reached the Western Conference Finals in 2013, surprising many fans. In short, Marc Gasol didn't save the franchise by scoring a lot of points or making crazy plays. He saved it by being a smart and steady leader who transformed a struggling team into a strong and respected one. For a second-round pick traded from another team, that's a huge win. Marc Gasol is proof that sometimes the quietest players make the biggest impact. When the San Antonio Spurs traded for Kawhi Leonard on draft night in 2011, 15th pick, most fans didn't jump out of their seats. He wasn't a flashy scorer, didn't have a big smile for the cameras, and honestly, he looked like he'd rather be anywhere else than in the spotlight. But that's exactly what made him deadly. The Spurs were already a well-oiled machine with Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker, but they were aging. They needed fresh legs and a future star who could defend, score when needed, and most importantly, stay quiet while doing it. Kawhi was all that and more. In the 2014 NBA Finals, he wasn't just good, he was unstoppable. He guarded LeBron James and still managed to score efficiently, earning the Finals' Most Valuable Player award. That wasn't just a ring, it was a passing of the torch. Kawhi proved the Spurs didn't just survive the end of the Duncan era, they were reloaded. His impact was like giving a silent sniper a bazooka. But wait, he didn't stop there. After leaving the Spurs, Kawhi landed in Toronto in 2018. The Raptors had a history of falling short in the playoffs, always almost there. Then Kawhi showed up. He played like a robot programmed to win, averaging 30.5 points per game in the 2019 playoffs. And who can forget the shot, the game winner over the Sixers in Game 7, that bounce, swish, broke Philly hearts and Canadian sound barriers at once. Kawhi led Toronto to their first ever NBA championship. 2 franchises saved, 1 man, no words, just buckets. So what do you call a man who saves 2 teams, wins 2 finals MVPs, and barely cracks a smile? A legend, or as Kawhi might say, nothing at all. Pascal Siakam, Toronto Raptors, 2016 27th pick. Before Pascal Siakam arrived, the Toronto Raptors were stuck. Good, not great. Playoff team, yes. Championship threat, not really. They had DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry, but no one who could truly shift the balance. Then Kosher in 16-16, with the 27th pick, yes, 27th, they drafted a skinny, energetic forward from Cameroon. Most fans didn't know his name. Some probably Googled him during commercial breaks. Siakam started slow, bouncing between the NBA and G League. But while other late picks fade out, he worked hard. By 18-19, he wasn't just a rotation guy, he was Toronto's X factor. That season he averaged 16.9 points and 6.9 rebounds and won Most Improved Player. But the real magic? The 2019 playoffs. After trading for Kawhi Leonard, the Raptors needed someone to support the superstar without shrinking in big moments. Enter Siakam. In Game 1 of the finals, he dropped 32 points on the Warriors like it was a scrimmage. His energy, speed, and spin moves gave Toronto a new identity. With Siakam thriving, Toronto beat the Warriors and won their first NBA title. Yes, the only team outside the US did that. It's not bad for a guy to pick after 26 others. So what changed? Before Pascal, good team, no ring. After Pascal, champions. His growth gave Toronto exactly what they needed. A third star who played like a first when it mattered most. Moral of the story? Never underestimate the 27th pick, especially if he brings hot sauce. Tyrese Halliburton, Indiana Pacers, 12th pick. Okay, technically Tyrese Halliburton wasn't drafted by the Pacers, but let's be honest, he saved them. Traded from the Kings in 2022 for Domantas Sabonis, Halliburton arrived in Indiana like a superhero with a headband. And ever since, the Pacers have gone from, oh yeah, they're still in the league, to wait, Indiana's actually fun now. Before Halliburton, the Pacers were stuck in no man's land, too good to tank, too average to matter. But once Tyrese put on that Pacers jersey, things changed. He's not just passing, he's surgical. In the 2023-24 season, he averaged 20.1 points and 10.9 assists per game, leading the NBA in assists for most of the year. That's right, he basically turned Indiana's offense into an art exhibit. Under his lead, the Pacers made it to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in a decade. His chemistry with guys like Miles Turner and rookie Ben Shepherd made Indiana one of the fastest, flashiest teams in the league. The Pacers now have an identity and hope. Tyrese didn't just save the franchise, he revived it. A 12th pick from Iowa State turned the lights back on in Indiana, and he's just getting started. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to subscribe because we've got more draft day stories, game-changing moments, and basketball legends coming your way every single week. And of course, share this with a friend who still thinks their team made the worst pick ever. Maybe this will give them some hope.